Welcome to the Chasing the Ripcurrent podcast presented by the Russell Law Group and Sign Design. Sam Evans alongside Aidan Pham, Adam Ucuzoglu, and Avi Singh here. The Riptide had another solid week, continuing their place atop the CCL South among playoff eligible teams. A lot of great stuff to get into, and we'll start it off by just having Chick-fil-A and First Class Pizza from Woodbury Town Center present our week in review. It all started on Tuesday with a win over the Barons, right, Avi?
Yeah, it was a decent showing on Tuesday. A good bounce back win after losing to that same Barons squad last Sunday up in Compton. It was a disappointing loss, plenty of fielding errors in that game from the Riptide defense. Fielding difficulty, something that we continue to see from this Riptide team, even with that championship potential that they've shown this week, which we'll get to in a little bit. But it was a good bounce back win on Tuesday. The Bats came alive. 6-2 was the final score, and it was a solid win overall against the Barons.
Unfortunately, the Riptide fell to Arroyo Seco on Wednesday at home. Aiden, you want to take us through that one?
Yeah, it was just overall not the Riptide's best game against Arroyo Seco. It was the Saints' first trip back to Great Park since that wild card game last year, and the Saints come out on top 8-3 against the Riptide. But they scored the first run of the game in the fourth. Orange County never really led, and it felt like for a moment the Riptide were getting back into it. They had two runs in the eighth inning, and then in the ninth, just sloppy baseball there. You had a pop up that was misplayed by the Riptide, and they end up giving up three runs in the ninth inning, and that really put the game out of reach. So tough loss to Arroyo Seco, but they'll have their crack at the Saints later on in the season.
The Riptide had a non-league game, their only one of the entire summer, against the Malibu Marlins on Thursday. They lost 5-4 in what, from a baseball standpoint, was an exciting back and forth game, but definitely one the Riptide were disappointed to lose. They had two wild pitches from Austin Kirkwood in the top of the eighth that gave the Marlins a 5-3 lead. They actually loaded the bases with nobody out in the bottom of the inning and were not able to get to take the lead in that situation. They had a double play that Reed Montgomery hit into, and then in the ninth inning, Tatum Marsh, representing the tying run, was picked off on second base. So just some more mental mistakes, and that was sort of the theme all week long. Was the Riptide didn't play their cleanest brand of baseball, and that's why they only went 3-3 this week. But if they can play that poor level of baseball and still find a way to win half their games, sky's the limit for this team. And they really showed that on Friday with a big win over the Oaks.
Yeah, yes, indeed they did. When the back-to-back champs come into town, you expect a tough game, but that is not what we got. The Riptide took down Conejo 12-2, but I mean the summary of this one is the first inning. The Riptide came out firing after a scoreless top of the first by Sammy Kova making his home debut. The Riptide just jumped all over Conejo pitcher Hunter Hammond, who pitched one-third of an inning, giving up 10 runs, nine of them earned. And that was just really thanks to a lot of walks, a lot of singles. It was small ball, not too many. There wasn't a home run in there. There wasn't any huge plays, but again, the Riptide just dinked and dunked, kept going, and it felt like Hunter Hammond just couldn't get off the mound. And by the time it was 10-0, the scoreboard actually couldn't even hold double digits, so it said zero up there. That pretty much summed up this game. The game was over after the bottom of the first. Sammy Kova kept on shoving, four innings of only two hit ball, no runs given up. And then the bullpen took care of it from there and only gave up two more runs. The offense also added two more, so a solid 12-2 bounce back victory.
And they kept it rolling with the only road trip of the week up at Slow.
Yeah, it was certainly an interesting day. It took us nearly 6 hours to get there on the bus because of traffic up in Ventura. We had to stop for food in Santa Maria. Coach Evans told the players to pre-order food. Half the guys forgot to pre-order food, so we were stuck there for an additional half an hour. And then the players didn't get to take batting practice because they got there too late. But no BP, no problem for the Riptide offense. Three runs in the first inning in a packed Sunsheimer Stadium against a red-hot, slow Blues team that came in on a 13-game win streak, a six spot in the seventh inning, and a 5-for-5 day, three doubles and two singles, including a two RBI knock in the first inning for Cooper Clouser. No batting practice, no problem. Riptide put up 10 runs and slow to snap the Blues' 13-game win streak, a potential championship preview that the Riptide emerged victorious.
Definitely was great to set the tone against the Blues. We're only going to play them a couple more times this summer, but big result. We'll have Cooper with us momentarily to interview him and talk about the big week he had. Aiden, you want to round out the week with the loss to the Barons on Sunday?
Yeah, I'll start with it was Father's Day, so that was a lot of fun pregame. You saw the fathers and sons in the outfield catching pregame, and I believe it was one of our best crowds of the season, if not the best. But on the baseball field, the bats just really couldn't get going for the Riptide as they fell 3-2 against the Academy Barons, and that was kind of disappointing because we just talked about those back-to-back games where the bats woke up for the Riptide. That 10-run inning against Conejo, and then scoring 10 runs against a really good Blues team. But Barons jumped ahead early, 3-0. Riptide kind of made it interesting in the ninth inning. He had a big play from Reed Montgomery, who, by the way, had a really good game for the Riptide. 3 for 4, two singles, a double, and an RBI. So Reed's been having a good week, but also credit the Barons. I think they played a really clean baseball game. Adam, you were talking about how that was a really good defensive game for them. And in the seventh, the Riptide had runners on second and third with one out, and Barons just come up with a really good double play to get out of the inning. So credit the Barons. They come out on top 3-2 against the Riptide yesterday.
Yeah, especially, credit to Reed. He's had back-to-back three-hit games. A lot of the talk is going to be about Cooper Clouser and the big week he had, especially with him coming on the pod. But hopefully all the Riptide bats can get rolling, and Montgomery is a huge part of that. So Cooper Clouser will be joining us momentarily. Thank you. Stay tuned. The California Collegiate League's biggest event of the summer is coming to Reno, Nevada on Saturday, July 4th. The 2026 CCL All-Star Game will bring together the league's top prospects and future professional players at Greater Nevada Field, home of the Reno Aces. Following the game, fans will enjoy a spectacular fireworks show as part of the America 250 celebration. To purchase tickets and learn more, visit calsummerball.com. Here with Cooper Clouser, thanks to Marucci Clothing and Richardson Helmets. Cooper, have you ever had a week as hot as the one you just had?
No, not even remotely close. That was yeah, that was pretty special.
At one point, I think there was like a scoring error, so you had 10 straight at bats with a base hit.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean, like what's the most you'd had in a row before that?
I mean, I think I had six one day. But I mean, I had never even gotten remotely close to 10 before. I thought that was out of reach for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cooper,
well,
you're sorry, go ahead, Adam.
yeah, Cooper, your streak started during the 12-2 win over Conejo. How do you guys as a team and you in specific stay in the game after a 10 spot in the first inning?
It's a little tricky, especially after putting it all up in the first. You got 9 innings, but I mean, I think just kind of making sure that you're taking advantage of the at bats you're getting here in summer ball is huge. You don't want to take any at bats off, even if you are winning by that much. So I think just staying locked into the game and really, truly taking advantage of all the at bats you get. Because this is what makes you better and sends you back home ready to go. So definitely not just taking advantage of it because you're up by so much.
Yeah, Cooper, I want to ask about your commitment to Michigan, right? You're going to be a Wolverine. What was that whole process like in the transfer portal, and what are you looking forward to most about being at Michigan?
Yeah, I mean the transfer portal was pretty much the exact same as getting recruited out of high school, and a lot of calls, and I'm super grateful for everyone that reached out to me. And then Michigan kind of just stood out from day one, and my relationship with the coaches, it kind of felt like it really felt like home just talking to all those guys. And they gave me an offer. I decided to commit pretty much on the spot. I'm super excited to get out there and play for Coach Smith. And I think it's going to be a little bit of a change in scenery. I've never really left home, being born and raised in Phoenix and then going to ASU. But I mean, I'm super stoked to get out there to Michigan and, kind of experience Ann Arbor and like I said, play for Coach Smith. I think it's going to be a great year.
Obviously, big news coming out of Michigan on the basketball side of things. I don't know if you saw that May's gone, so hopefully Michigan baseball can take over as the predominant team on campus.
Yeah, yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, well, you guys were able to snap a 13-game win streak for San Luis Obispo up on the road with a big crowd, and you did it with a 5-for-5 day, including three extra base hits, all of them doubles, and that was without batting practice. How good do you feel this team can be when they're truly on?
I mean, it's a very talented team for sure, and I think we're kind of starting to see more of it here as we get kind of linked together. I think early on, everyone obviously the talent's there, but I think in the dugout, we're all really starting to click. It's a great group of guys, and we all really like each other, and we like, going to the field every day together. So I think that, since we're starting to click now and everyone's starting to know each other a lot more, I think that there's a lot of really good things ahead.
Yeah, Cooper, you mentioned how this team is clicking, and it's obvious every day we see the team, they're getting closer and closer. How much fun has it been to be on this team and get to know all your teammates?
It's been incredible. Definitely one of the most fun experiences of my life has been meeting these guys, and I'm really growing close to a lot of dudes on the team, and it's really cool to kind of hear about people's experiences from their schools, and there's just so much to talk about. Really, like it's nice, especially like an off day like today. You get to hang out with some of the guys and just kind of like see what type of people they are, and then we get to go back out and play baseball again next week. So it's been one of the most fun experiences of my life.
There's four catchers on this ball club, including yourself. What's the relationship been like, especially between you guys behind the plate?
It's great, man. There's no like everyone always thinks, position players, they play the same position, they're gonna, not like each other. But me, Scoop, Pone, and Noah, like we're all really close. I mean, we all do everything we can to make each other better, especially in summer ball like this. Like everyone's gonna play and everyone's gonna get their shot, and we're all rooting for each other, and we're all always there if anyone needs anything to warm up, whatever it may be. It's a really good group, and we're all rooting for each other.
I know you sort of got off to a little bit of a slow start this summer. Was there any adjustments and changes you made just to get so hot these last couple games here?
Yeah, I think I really just kind of, confidence is a huge part. I think I got hurt in the back half of the season last year, so I was just kind of coming back, especially early on, and not a lot of confidence built up there. But I think once I kind of just tried to dial in my approach, I was trying to do too much early on, not really sticking to who I am, trying to hit too many homers when I've never really hit a lot of homers. But yeah, just kind of getting the timing back, sticking to my approach. I think getting that confidence back was huge. Once I got one, it kind of started rolling in, and I started to feel good again. So yeah, just sticking to my approach and not trying to do too much.
Yeah, well, this week you guys were able to have five home games, and that included four in a row. You also have home games on Tuesday and Wednesday. So I was wondering how great has it been to be able to get into a kind of a routine here in Irvine, just around the ballpark and getting to know each other, just little things like that.
It's awesome, man. Playing at home and playing away is just such a big difference, especially when you have to leave at 9 in the morning for slow, and then that kind of it's your whole day for sure. Definitely playing at the great park. It gives us time to work out in the morning. Get all our stuff in that we need to do. It's a great experience there. Great park's a great park, great place to play. So that routine, just being able to dial it in, especially with so many home games, and have something set that you do every day before the game, it's really huge.
Well, Cooper, you're getting all these questions about relationships and sort of gelling with the guys. I think one of the biggest relationships on the diamond is the pitcher-catcher relationship and knowing your guys' stuff well, getting to click. Are there any pitchers that you really click with throughout the course of the season so far, guys that like you can go out there and you know that they'll have a good outing with you as their backstop?
Yeah, I think me and Sammy Kova, I've caught him every time he's thrown. He's just been unreal so far this year. I think we're definitely starting to build that connection there. I mean, it's all like I don't want to single anybody out. It's all great. Like everyone's great. Like nobody shows anybody up. I mean, I caught McGuire the first day on opening day, and it felt like we were right at home. Like it's a really great group of pitchers, and they're all super cool, and you know, like especially as a pitcher catcher duo the first couple times, it can get a little shaky, a little frustrating at times, but it's a really, really good group of guys, and they're super respectful towards me, and I'm super respectful towards them, and we've been getting it done. So
Got to see you have the back pick at second base yesterday too. I know that's been something that you've been sort of trying a couple times. How nice was it to finally get a runner?
Yeah, it was nice to get somebody at second. My throw's been a little off, so that was kind of just out of instinct there too. Wasn't really planning it, but he got off, and Barth was there, made a good play. So, that one took a weight off the shoulders for sure.
Is that something that you guys, will drill and IO and stuff? Is getting that throw down or?
Not really. I mean, we do the throwdowns to second as we would, but he just got off there a lot. The guy at second, and then Barth was right there. So, we were there together with it, and yeah, just threw it. Was able to get him.
Does anybody else have anything for Cooper or?
Yeah, I just have one more question. So, Cooper, you and I are both from Phoenix. I think from my perspective, there's a pretty good baseball culture out there, not just with the Diamondbacks, but with, spring training, fall league, guys that stay and play baseball in the offseason, all the little leagues going on, even with the Heat. Could you just talk a little bit about your experience growing up around baseball in Phoenix?
I mean, yeah, I could go on about this for hours, man. Like, my town, I'm from a town called Ahwatukee. It produces a lot of talent. And just growing up, going, just playing wiffle ball outside with the neighbors, and baseball is probably the most predominant sport in my area. My grandpa played for ASU, which is why I went to ASU. So, my dad was a scout, my uncle's a scout, my mom works for the MLB. Like I've grown up around baseball my whole life. There's never really a question that I was going to play baseball, and especially living in a place like Phoenix. I mean, it's literally everywhere. High school is super competitive. There's a lot of talent everywhere. You got the spring training fields. You never have to go anywhere for any perfect game tournaments or anything. But yeah, I think growing up in Phoenix and in Ahwatukee definitely kind of made me who I am. Not only as a baseball player, as a person. But yeah.
What major league role does your mom have?
That's a good question. She'll probably get mad at me that I don't know, but she does a lot of stuff with the MLB.com and the ticketing and all that sort of stuff.
Cool stuff. All right. Well, thank you so much for stopping by, Cooper. I know that you've got our vote for CCL Hitter of the Week. You were awesome this week. So
Yeah.
rooting for you.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. Have a good one. Enjoy
Yeah.
your off day.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. So thank you very much to Cooper Clouser. We'll now have Rome Brewing and Fairmont Schools present our preview of the next week of Riptide baseball. So they look to keep things rolling. It all starts tomorrow night, Tuesday, against the San Diego Waves, when it's double play Tuesday. So every fan who comes to the ballpark will get a baseball bingo card. Each winning adult gets 2 free tickets to the game on Wednesday against the Bombers. Each winning child gets to run the bases after the game. So it'll be a fun time. This Waves team is really good. We saw them come back, or they had a 5-run lead against the Riptide. Orange County came back to win 8-6 earlier in the season, but it'll be a fun game and definitely need all the Riptide fans there that we can get. So hopefully come out to support Double Play Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, the San Diego Bombers come to town. We've seen them a lot so far in this season, haven't we, Aiden?
Yeah, it's going to be another meeting with the Bombers. The Riptide have had their number. I believe they're 4-0 against San Diego. So a chance for the Bombers to get revenge and the Riptide to continue their hot streak against the Bombers.
And that'll be at 7 p.m. on Wednesday as well. So back-to-back home late night starts for the Riptide to begin the week. They'll head on the road to the MLB Academy Barons at 6 p.m. on Thursday. Colin Costigan, who couldn't be with us for the podcast, he'll be on the radio call for that one. So if you want to tune in, be sure to look at OC Riptide on Mixler for that game. And we know how good this Barons team is. They're 2-1 now against the Riptide this season, above 500 in the CCL. Adam, do you want to say something?
Yeah, just gotta throw out another mention. Aiden talked about it, but this is a team that's so disciplined on defense. We talked about that unbelievable solo 5-3 double play to get out of a second and third bases jam, but they probably made 4 or 5 other plays as well that a normal defensive team wouldn't make. I mean, we can talk about, I think it was Sawamura out in center field making a diving catch to rob at least one run and to rob definitely extra bases. They made probably 2 or 3 diving stops with just in the infield alone. And you can just tell in the dugout this Barons team is disciplined and they care a lot. They're always cheering on their teammates. So this is definitely not any giveaway game, especially on the road.
Yeah, this Barons team sort of has been bad, especially on the pitching and defensive side of things for the last couple seasons, but they're really rolling so far this year. A couple games ahead of Arroyo Seco, and they're actually ahead of Conejo right now. So they'd be the 2 seed in the playoffs as things stand. I liked Sawamura was actually giving love to the little leaguers who were walking behind him in the outfield after he made the sliding play. So that was pretty cool to see, even if it was against the Riptide. The Conejo Oaks will be back at the Great Park on Friday. Hopefully, the Riptide can repeat a 10-run first inning. And then the Riptide will go back to Conejo on Saturday at 4 p.m. That'll be on Riptide Radio. It'll be me and Aidan Pham on the call for that ball game. And then the week will round out with the first time we've seen the Philippines baseball group. And I know that we're all excited to take on that ball club for the first time. Avi and Adam will be seeing them for their first time in their careers. Me and Aiden got to experience the Philippines last year, but it's been a bad start to the season. They're 0-8 so far this year, but plenty of time to turn things around. So that sort of takes us through our week preview here. Thank you guys so much for listening in. Do you guys have anything you want to add before we get out of here?
I'll just say this. These past couple of games at the Great Park have been a lot of fun to see. So definitely try to come out to the ballpark if you can. If you can't, you can catch us on the YouTube stream for home games and obviously radio for away games.
Yeah, we had the most attended game all season long on Sunday. We'd love if we could come out and break that record again. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate you joining us here on the Chasing the Ripcurrent podcast. For Avi Singh, Adam Ucuzoglu, and Aidan Pham, I'm Sam Evans. Thank you so much. Goodbye.